In today's news, police investigate gunfire in Thomasland, East End. The BVI cannot allow the UK to impose its culture or ideologies on us, says Premier Wheatley. He also declares that no license issued in Necker Island same-sex marriage ceremony. Over $23,000 have been raised in the Rotary Club of Tortola's Grand Raffle, and Fiona Strengthening into Category 4 hurricane on track for Bermuda. Premier Wheatley leads BVI delegation to the 9th meeting of the Inter-Virgin Islands Council. We'll be right back with these stories. You're watching 284 News.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, I can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you, know?
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out that trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Welcome everybody. It's Thursday, September 22nd, 2022. A terrific Thursday to each and every one of you. I'm Ron Grant, coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Thank you so much for joining us. Beginning our newscast on the local scene, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force is investigating reports of gunfire near Thomasland in East End in the early hours of Wednesday morning. According to a very brief statement issued by the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, officers reported to the scene following reports and recovered several spent shells while observing the area. One vehicle was also found with damages consistent with gunfire. However, there have been no injuries reported in relation to this incident. Investigations, they say, are ongoing. Panning across the region, while the British Virgin Islands was spared by any major damages associated with the passing of Hurricane Fiona, the system has strengthened to a Category 4 as of yesterday, Wednesday, and is barreling towards sister overseas territory, Bermuda, after devastating Puerto Rico. Fiona is expected to begin affecting Bermuda later this week, bringing torrential rains and strong winds of over 130 miles or 215 kilometers per hour. Now, although Bermuda is not expected to take a direct hit from the system, the National Hurricane Center predicts that it will continue to strengthen as it moves towards the island. The system made landfall in Puerto Rico over the weekend, where local authorities have categorized its passing with historic flooding, landslides, and widespread damage and infrastructural damages. Authorities are still tallying the destruction. However, it has been reported that some 40% of residents were without pipe-borne water and 75% were without electricity as of Wednesday. Unfortunately, 4 deaths associated with the hurricane have also been confirmed in Puerto Rico, bringing the total number of confirmed fatalities associated with this system to 5, following one other confirmed incident in Guadeloupe. 8 suspected deaths, including a 4-month-old, are still under investigation. Our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to our residents across the region as we all navigate through the continuance of the hurricane season. Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalio D. Wheatley has expressed the view that despite seeking to maintain positive relationships with the United Kingdom, the British Virgin Islands cannot allow, he says, the UK to impose its culture or ideologies on the territory, particularly at a time where this could directly impact the process of constitutional development.
Madam Speaker, in wrapping up, I just want to speak on one additional issue as it pertains to constitutional development, which I believe is very important. It is important, Madam Speaker, that in our relationship with the United Kingdom, that they do not impose on us based on their cultural views or the way that they see the world. Because in constitutional development, it should reflect the people It should be truly a democratic process, not a process where you seek to impose your ideology or your culture on anyone else. And as we're going through this constitutional review, it is an opportunity for us to be able to clarify or to make clear on certain issues which have certainly become topical, especially as it pertains to what the United Kingdom may consider to be, in their view, social issues that they want to make commentary on.
Now, viewers, at the time the Premier was speaking on the matter of same-sex marriage in the territory, a discussion which has been given new life after an article was published by Vogue magazine detailing a same-sex wedding ceremony that was held in Necker Island earlier this year. According to Wheatley, as it currently stands, the laws of the Virgin Islands do not accommodate same-sex marriage, and therefore no licenses were issued by the Virgin Islands during this ceremony.
Of course, this event at Necker Island, there was no issuances of marriage licenses here in the Virgin Islands. But of course, they were able to have this event just as an event, a celebration, a ceremony, etc. Madam Speaker, so it's become topical because of that event, but also later this month there will be a court case. Not sure how well known it is here in the Virgin Islands, but we have a same-sex couple who was married outside of the Virgin Islands and is challenging our court system here, challenging our laws, whether our laws are constitutional in not recognizing their marriage.
Now, the Premier stopped short on speaking on this matter, stating that he did not wish to say much because it is currently before the courts. Outside of these specific instances, however, Wheatley said that the Virgin Islands and other overseas territories have been under pressure from the United Kingdom Parliament Foreign Affairs Committee to change their position on the matter of same-sex marriage. Wheatley claimed that in previous instances, the committee has made it clear that the Parliament wanted overseas territories to bring forward legislation which would legalize same-sex marriage. Now, Wheatley stressed that the Virgin Islands cannot give in to such pressures when it comes to matters and asserted that nobody outside of the Virgin Islanders themselves should have the final say on making drastic changes to the territory's laws.
Any drastic change to be made to our laws here in the Virgin Islands, we have the opportunity to make those changes through our constitutional review or through our own local legislature. And any change, or whether the law remains the same, is a matter, in my view, for the people of the Virgin Islands, not for a judge and not for any other government to impose on us.
Viewers, when 284 News returns, Premier Wheatley leads a BVI delegation to the 9th meeting of the Inter-Virgin Islands Council, and over $23,000 has been raised in the Rotary Club of Tortola's Grand Raffle. We have the details of these and so much more when 284 News returns.
You value traditions. Today. You value music. You value education. Family.
I love you.
Service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Hello?
Wait, you had a lounge again? You don't say you were sick? What happened to our wedding rehearsal?
No, babe. I'm actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And District 3 residents outraged over no water supply. They simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
All right, babe, just get some rest, take 2 Advil, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, honey. I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance. Not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today. Viewers, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking with us. You're watching 284 News out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Today, September 22nd, 2022, Premier and Finance Minister Dr. the Honorable Natalio D. Wheatley led a delegation to represent the British Virgin Islands during the 9th meeting of the Inter-Virgin Islands Council, which is being held in the United States Virgin Islands. The BVI delegation consists of Deputy Premier and Minister for Communications and Works, the Honorable Kai M. Reimer, Minister for Health and Social Development, the Honorable Marlon A. Penn, Minister for Natural Resources and Labor, the Honorable Melvin Mitch Turnbull, Attorney General, the Honorable Don Smith, Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Carolyn Stout-Igwe, Financial Secretary, Mr. Jeremiah Frett, and other senior public officers. In addition to Premier Wheatley and the BVI delegation, the meeting will be attended by USVI Governor Albert Bryan Jr. and members of the USVI Cabinet. Now, the meeting of the Council, which formally oversees the relationship between the BVI and USVI, brings together policymakers from both territories to discuss ways of enhancing their relationship. In a statement from the Premier's office, it was revealed by Permanent Secretary Stout-Igwe that the meeting will be co-chaired by Wheatley and Bryan. Now, the pair is due to receive reports from 3 of 12 standing committees responsible for areas shared between the territories. The areas will be the Committee on Energy and Utilities, the Committee on Tourism, the Committee on Pleasure Boating and Sports Fishing. The Inter-Virgin Islands Council was established on May 29, 2004, following the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between then USVI Governor Dr. Charles Turnbull and Chief Minister Dr. the Honorable D. Orlando Smith, OBE. The Council last convened in February of 2020. Now, in this instance, viewers, under the then leadership of former Premier Andrew Foy, the meeting resulted in the donation of protective kits and body armor to the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force from counterparts in the USVI Police Department. Residents of the Virgin Islands often hear the call for help circulated via word of mouth or through WhatsApp text blasts with the caption, "Urgent, blood needed." Blood is, of course, essential to life and health, and the Dr. D. Orlando Smith Hospital has seen its fair share of accident victims, cancer patients, or individuals who are seriously ill and need blood transfusions. There is not a full-fledged blood bank at the hospital to meet the needs of the patients of the Virgin Islands. One of the major projects of the Rotary Club of Tortola in the current Rotary year is to improve and upgrade the hospital's blood bank and storage facilities. Ms. Devai Nicholson, Laboratory Manager at the BVI Health Services Authority, was the guest speaker at the club's luncheon meeting on the 15th of September 2022 to speak about the current state of the blood bank at the hospital. She stated that blood donated to the hospital must be sent, of course, to Puerto Rico for testing and preparation before it can be administered to patients. She said that most often, when blood is needed, it has to be ordered from Puerto Rico at a cost of $1,800 per unit. Once ordered, it then takes on average 1 to 2 weeks to receive the blood. Ms. Nicholson stated that having a larger blood storage unit and upgraded lab equipment will allow the hospital to test blood locally and will mean a readily available blood supply on hand. Now, viewers, in addition, it will significantly shorten the turnaround time to supply blood to needy patients and lengthen the blood's storage before expiration. The Rotary Club of Tortola is currently raising money to fund the project. The first fundraiser was the recently concluded Grand Raffle with a cash prize of $20,000. The final cash prize drawing was held last Friday, September 16th, at Walmart Superstore. The lucky winner was Mrs. Dawn Boyer. A second prize of $5,000 was drawn on August 2nd during the August Festival horse races at the Ellis Thomas Downs. Mr. Ogun Barronville won that prize. Two early bird drawings of $1,000 each were made in July and were won by Mrs. Adeline Van Tool and Miss Ayana Glasgow. Net proceeds from the raffle totaled over $23,000, which will go a long way towards funding the blood bank. Club President Valerie Georges Thomas expressed her delight with the outcome of the Grand Raffle, stating, and I quote, "Our club members worked very hard on this fundraising venture, and we are very happy to have succeeded in raising a significant amount of money, which is all embarked for the blood bank project. We remain steadfast in our plans to make this important upgrade to the blood bank a reality in this current Rotary year, because it will hugely benefit every member of our community in a very tangible and meaningful way. No one knows when he or she may fall ill and will need blood. It is important," she added, "that our health services are in a position to provide blood as needs demand." The Rotary Club of Tortola would like to thank, they say, the following persons who assisted and contributed significantly towards ticket sales and all the proceedings during the Grand Raffle: the BVI Horse Racing Association, the Virgin Islands Festival and Fairs Committee, One Mart, Right Way Food Market, Clarence Thomas Limited, Bobby's Supermarket, ticket sale vendors, and the general public for supporting the raffle. The Rotary Club of Tortola, if you did not know, meets every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. at 7 at the park at the Cyril Rumley Tortola Pier Park. Viewers, when 284 News returns, Mia Mottley testified before the U.S. House Committee on Financial Services in the Caribbean and CIBC First Caribbean Finance's Sustainability-Linked Debt Conversation and of Marine Conservation on behalf of the government of Barbados. We have the details when 284 News returns.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Brilliant Hands and Minds Tutoring Services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.
The wait is over! CCT Fire is here! Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire, bring it home and upgrade today.
Viewers, welcome back. You're watching 284 News out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Panning across the region and on the international scene, recently Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, testified before the United States House Committee on Financial Services on the impact of de-risking in the Caribbean. Her testimony in front of the House Financial Services Committee marked the first time in nearly 40 years that a Prime Minister testified before Congress. Take a look.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair and Ranking Member. Thank you for having me here. I want to acknowledge my colleague, brother, Prime Minister of Trinidad, the Honorable Keith Rowley, who is also here this morning, and appropriately so, because even though they don't have an offshore banking sector, they are the owners of 2 of the 5 banks in Barbados, and therefore have a vested interest in this issue. I want to say, especially to the Ranking Member, that you can be assured that while Barbados sent the first 7 governors to the Carolinas, I'm not here for that purpose at all today, and therefore we need not worry. But I am here to tell you who we are and what faces us when banks leave. Our reality is that we in the Caribbean community are a community of sovereign nations of 15 countries, and we have a collective GDP of $82 billion US. There are 41 states in the United States of America that have a larger GDP than all 15 member states of CARICOM. It is important that we appreciate that context first. The irony is that the state that is closest to us in terms of GDP at $80 billion is the state of Delaware, but that speaks to other opportunities, I suspect, as to why Delaware and Wyoming, which is also smaller than us, have also pursued this era of financial services with the keenness that they have in recent years. We are here because we're fighting for a global public good, and we're fighting for the human rights of our citizens. This committee has already expressed its concern about financial exclusion of the American population, persons who have been excluded here. Our people are no different. When we were growing up, opening a bank account was a part of our rites of passage in becoming an adult. Today, it is now a gargantuan obstacle for us to have our people do so, given that we spend weeks and businesses come into our region, sometimes weeks and months, just to open a bank account as individuals to live and as companies to trade and do business. Our economies cannot function on their own. We do not make enough clothes, we do not produce our own food, we do not produce our own equipment, and therefore, unless we are able to trade with the rest of the world, we are at risk of becoming financial pariahs. We are here because the listing process that has taken place.
Prime Minister Mottley has continued to rally on behalf of the Caribbean on various issues impacting the region, including climate change. However, her recent address at the U.S. House Committee on Financial Services is hoped to affect great change and support the region in financial services.
It means that those correspondent banks over the course of the last 10 to 12 years have made a judgment that we are simply too small, as I've just told you, in order to get involved, because the enhanced due diligence means increased costs of regulation, increased cost of compliance. And rather than do business with us, they say, thank you, but no thank you. What it has meant is that almost every country in our region over the course of the last decade, with the exception of 2 or 3, have had a loss of more than 30% of their correspondent banking relationships. The truth is that we have also seen others use alternative mechanisms, as the Ranking Member just appropriately referred to in his opening statement, and therefore what we face is a situation that the very thing that you set out to achieve, which is the avoidance of terrorism financing, the avoidance of money laundering, on which we are all agreed, is likely to happen because you're driving people underground. There is no benefit in driving our citizens underground or making our countries uncompetitive such that our economies are at risk of becoming underdeveloped or failed states. And we have now to determine whether this is capable of being a continued acceptable course of action. We have been making noise for near a decade, and we want to thank this committee for hearing us today, because that noise cannot continue. And ironically, with the technological developments that are taking place, and as recent as the issuance of the digital yuan, on which The Economist magazine wrote a column last week, there are options becoming available to countries to opt out of the SWIFT system and to find other ways of being able to transmit money to their citizens. For us in this region, it is not yet here. But given long enough, nature abhors a vacuum, and we will find a way. And why should this matter to you? This is a country of immigrants. We have as many immigrants here as do people from Africa, Asia, Europe, all over. And if you recognize that the part of the pattern of being an immigrant is that while you've come to do better, you want to send back home money to those who have not been able to make the journey. When correspondent banking relationships are removed from our people, there is no longer the luxury of being able to do so. But the love doesn't stop. You don't stop loving your family. You don't want to stop sending back the money. And therefore, you will find whatever mechanism you can to be able to do so. Similarly, our economies require not just investment from local savings, but the attraction of foreign direct investment to survive. If we cannot keep our country safe, you already know in this country the spectacle of immigration from Caribbean countries.
That was Prime Minister of Barbados, the one and only Miss Mia Mottley again. Viewers, that is all the time we have. Be sure to check us out at tweet4media.com, as well as like us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Tweet4Media BVI. Of course, we are your source for honest and impartial news right here on Tweet4Media in Tortola, British Virgin Islands. Of course, I want to thank you all for sticking with us. Do have a beautiful rest of the day. A happy Thursday to each and every one of you, and I will see you tomorrow as I deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. It is always a pleasure reporting for Tweet4 News. I'm Ron Grant. Bye-bye. Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
The beautiful Virgin Islands, or nature's little secret as some prefer, where the weather stays warm and the drinks stay cold, where men in wigs get their lawyer bills paid by governments and governments lose planes, where walls are built and prisoners escape. You vacation where we suffer. BVI love.
A show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and, bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men. This season, I'm taking you on an entirely different journey, from chefs to dancers, philanthropists, communications specialists, and much more. I'm heading outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Vojingara, Jackson, not forgetting Anigata. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing, and I'm so proud. Get ready to reason, reflect, and redirect. We are the movers and shakers of this generation, and we ain't afraid to show it. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, Season 3 by yours truly, Ron Grant, raising a generation of greatness.
Father Jesus, that line you long like church service.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you, you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial, turn into 5. 5 months turning to well. You know I huff. I watch him ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked.